It's finally happening. We are entering one of the most decisive days of the entire year, the 31st of August. On this day, the person you trust most will become your greatest test, not an enemy, not a rival. Them, the one who's held your secrets, shared your victories, and stood closest to your heart, now standing as the very instrument heaven will use to measure you. It will strike without warning. A conversation that turns sharp. A look that feels unfamiliar. A truth that slices through the safety you thought was unshakable. And in that moment, the veil will tear. And heaven will watch not their betrayal, but your response. If your chest tightens reading this, if something in you whispers, "This is for me," then act now, like this video, subscribe, and drop 777 the comments, so this warning reaches every other chosen one in time. To those who have given through super thanks, or even if you haven't, your presence here is a blessing I honor deeply. Now, let's tear open the truth about the 31st of August before it tears into you. God's chosen ones. On the 31st of August, the person you trust most will be your greatest test. When heaven tests you, it rarely arrives in a flash of lightning or a roaring voice from the clouds. It slips in quietly through the person whose presence you have long trusted, whose voice has shaped the rhythm of your days. That is why such a trial cuts far deeper than any open enemy could. Even my close friend, someone I trusted, one who shared my bread, has turned against me. Psalm 41:9. And when that moment comes, will you see it as betrayal, or will you recognize the refining fire it truly is? The difference lies in perception. One turns the heart bitter, the other turns it pure. Sometimes the most disguised blessing is the one that arrives wearing the face of offense, because it forces the gold within you to separate from the dross. On the 31st of August, the unseen currents will shift like fault lines beneath the earth, silent yet unyielding. Out of that shift, hidden motives will rise like ink swirling into clear water. The one who knows your victories and your private griefs will become a mirror reflecting more than your outward life. They will uncover what your soul has been holding. Their words may press against unhealed wounds. Their silences may speak volumes. Will you let those moments strengthen your foundation or crack it? This is not a day for surface reactions. It is a day for deep anchoring. The measure of your character will not be found in avoiding the storm, but in how you hold your footing when the wind shifts without warning. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold. But the Lord tests the heart. Proverbs 17:3. Strength in this hour will not be measured by grand gestures, but by a steady refusal to surrender truth for temporary relief. The painter Vincent van Gogh once observed, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." This test will be a series of such small things, each one shaping the arc of your destiny. A look you choose to overlook. A provocation you decide not to answer. A temptation you turn away from without announcement. These are the hidden victories that shift your future. And what if, in resisting the urge to defend yourself, you are actually defending your crown? Yet Scripture and history warn us of the opposite path. Demas, once a trusted companion of the Apostle Paul, loved this present world and deserted his mission. 2 Timothy 4:10. His fall was not a sudden collapse. It was the slow erosion of conviction under the weight of compromise. Who in your life might be playing the role of a modern Demas, urging you toward comfort that costs you the crown God intended for you. The tragedy of such a choice is that it often feels harmless in the moment, yet years later, the loss is written across a destiny that could have been, and sometimes the greatest danger isn't in a visible enemy, but in the friendly hand that leads you off the narrow path, one small step at a time. Nature teaches this as well. A tree in a constant wind does not grow weaker, it grows roots deeper into the soil, but a tree shielded from all strain often topples when the storm finally comes. Romans 8:37 declares, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." So, when the storm rises on the 31st of August, will you sink into the soil of faith or be swept away by the flood? Remember, storms have two purposes: to expose what cannot stand and to strengthen what refuses to fall. And in that exposure, heaven writes your true testimony. You will stand in that moment, not only before a person, but before the architecture of your own soul. Every word you speak, every silence you hold, will be a brick laid toward your future or toward your ruin. And if you endure, you will claim the promise, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life." James 1:12. When that hour strikes, will you choose the crown or the compromise? The choice will not feel ceremonial, it will feel raw, urgent, and deeply personal. And yet, on the other side of endurance is a victory that nothing in this world can take from you. Chosen one, rise. Not because the road is gentle, but because heaven has already carved your victory into eternity. This is your proving ground, your defining chapter, and your moment to stand so firm that even the gates of hell take a step back. The heavens are not watching to condemn you, they are watching to shape you. This is not judgment for your destruction, it is preparation for your promotion. Something greater than anything you have known is approaching. Và bạn không thể bước vào điều đó khi vẫn mặc trên mình chiếc áo cũ của con người cũ. See, I am doing a new thing, now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19 is not just a verse, it is the quiet announcement of your next chapter. How many times have you found yourself reliving the same story? The scenery changes, the faces change, yet the emotional wound remains the same, like a melody that returns in every verse of your life's song. The 31st of August will be more than a date. It will be a door. But not all doors open with a key. Some only yield when the one standing before them has been transformed. In the days leading up to this moment, you may feel the air tighten with a quiet urgency. Dreams will sharpen into colors more vivid than waking life. Encounters will feel charged, as if every glance and every word has been rehearsed in a script older than your birth. And the real question is, will you dismiss them as coincidence, or will you treat them as divine clues? Be dressed ready for service and keep your lamps burning. Luke 12:35 is the silent instruction hidden inside those moments. Nature teaches this truth with the migration of monarch butterflies. They travel thousands of miles, crossing seasons and storms, yet always arrive at the exact grove their ancestors knew, because something within them refuses to be lost. In the same way, these signs, these breadcrumbs, scattered before you are heaven's way of guiding you to the place already written in your design. And right there, in the middle of the journey, you may realize ignoring them is choosing to wander. Following them is choosing to arrive. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. When that moment comes, the person closest to you may suddenly feel like a threshold, a living gate between the life you've known and the one you are about to enter. Their words may sting like winter wind against bare skin. Their actions might leave shadows you didn't expect. Their silence may ache deeper than any wound. But hidden beneath it is heaven's question: will you let go of who you were, so I can crown who you are becoming? This is the heart of the test, not their actions, but your transformation in the face of them. It is like the moment in the opera La Traviata, when the music swells, and you realize the pain in the melody is not there to break the heroine, but to bring her to the final turning point. The tension is not cruelty, it is the final shaping before release. Your story is caught in that same swell. The strings are tightening, not to strangle you, but to tune you for the song you were born to play. And as the music builds, you begin to see that what feels like resistance is actually alignment. So, chosen one, as the 31st of August draws near, watch for the signs in the sky and the stirring in your spirit. See the wind bending the branches, the river carving a new path through the stone, and the night sky aligning in patterns only the patient can discern. In the stillness between those signs, heaven's message will settle over you, not to frighten you, but to prepare you for the appointed crossing. Step lightly, listen deeply, and hold yourself ready for the moment when the test arrives through the one you least expect. On the 31st of August, the inner landscape of your heart will amplify like a sound wave in a perfectly tuned chamber. Every emotion will be magnified. Subtle disagreements could feel like deep betrayals, and the smallest remark could reopen scars that have slept for years. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. The danger is not in the event itself, but in the reaction it provokes. One impulsive choice could seal shut a door heaven has been waiting to open. Will you allow the pressure to break you, or will you let it refine you? In this moment, patience will not be passive. It will be your most advanced weapon, like the tensile steel that keeps a cathedral standing for centuries. Silence will be the shield that absorbs the tremors without letting them fracture the structure of your spirit. Love, even when heat rises in your chest, will be the frequency that disarms the test itself. This will be a spiritual earthquake, shaking not to destroy the house of your soul, but to reveal the cracks in its foundation. In architecture, this is called a structural integrity assessment, a test to see what can endure and what must be rebuilt. And when the dust settles, the design that remains will be purer, stronger, and more aligned with the architect's blueprint for your life. But here is a truth many will not tell you. If you miss the lesson hidden in the shaking, the cycle will reload. The same kind of person, the same kind of wound, the same kind of storm will repeat until you choose a different path. As a dog returns to its vomit, so fools repeat their folly. Proverbs 26:11. This is why the 31st of August is not just a point on the calendar. It is a once-opened gate in the architecture of heaven. Miss it, and the rotation of the wheel will not come again until the next appointed time. From now until that day, observe your inner atmosphere with the precision of a scientist tracking resonance patterns. How do you feel in the company of your closest circle? Do they raise your frequency or pull you into the static of doubt? Do you feel the oxygen of trust in their presence, or the constriction of silent judgment? The answers are the coordinates of your upcoming test, and when it strikes, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. James 1:19. For wisdom in the first response will determine the map of your next chapter. The great conductor Arturo Toscanini once said, "The silence between the notes is as important as the notes themselves." In the heat of the 31st of August, Your silence will not be a weakness, it will be the sacred rest between movements. The pause that gives meaning to the crescendo. The challenge may wear the familiar face of someone you love, but beneath that familiarity is the hidden scaffolding of your breakthrough. What is coming is not random. It is ancient, woven into the fabric of your story, long before you breathed your first. Around the 31st of August, the heavens will align in a way that feels like the locking of gears in a cosmic timepiece, precise, irreversible, and deliberate. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. The patterns you've lived, the delays you've endured, the misunderstandings that have shadowed your journey, none of them were accidents. They were the construction phase for this exact bridge. And now heaven will see if you are ready to walk across. Chosen one, rise. Not because the path is easy, but because the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. Matthew 24:13. Stand as if the walls of your destiny are being set in place around you. Stand as if your silence is laying the keystone in the arch of your future. Stand, because this is the day the foundation of your next chapter is tested, and you will not be found lacking. For weeks, it has felt as though every conversation was built on sand, every plan suspended in the half-light of misunderstanding. Mercury, the ancient messenger of the gods, has been locked in the dissonance of retrograde, words tangled like roots beneath a forgotten cathedral floor, meanings warped, and vital truths locked behind invisible gates. The timing of your steps felt misaligned, as if you were walking against an unseen current. But now, as the days before the 31st of August unfold, the gears of the heavens begin to realign. Mercury moves directly into Leo, and the shift is not a whisper, it is a surge. It will feel like the clouds muffling your voice are ripped apart, and the warmth of your own clarity floods in. This is not just a change in mood, it is the release of pressure in a sealed chamber. A sudden decompression that makes space for breath. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. Leo does not move in shadows, it stands in the open, crowned in unshakable light. When the messenger runs in the fire of the lion, truth will no longer wait for the right moment. It will demand to be spoken, even if your voice shakes. Are you ready to speak what heaven has been storing in your bones, in the language of physics? This is the moment of resonance, when a frequency finds its match and the energy multiplies. That is what happens when Mercury turns forward in Leo. Your words and your purpose synchronize, and the vibration of your calling reverberates far beyond the room you're standing in. The Renaissance architect Filippo Brunelleschi once said that every dome must have a perfect keystone, a single piece that locks the entire structure in place. This alignment is your keystone. Miss it, and the structure remains unfinished. Will you step into the center and set it? For some, this moment will feel like the pause before the final round in a championship, muscles still, breath measured, the crowd holding its silence. In that pause, everything you have rehearsed is either ready to rise or ready to fail. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt. Colossians 4:6. Because the words you release now will not only move through air, they will carve paths through time. What if the very truths you've been guarding were never meant to stay hidden, but to arrive like arrows at the exact heart they were sent for? And understand this: when Mercury turns direct in Leo, the truths you've hidden are no longer just personal, they become assignments. You may find yourself telling someone exactly what they needed to hear, at the precise moment heaven wanted them to hear it. The late choreographer Martha Graham once said, "You are unique, and if that is not fulfilled, then something has been lost." This is your fulfillment moment. The messenger inside you has been training for release. Do not be afraid, keep on speaking. Do not be silent. Acts 18:9. Every word you release now will ripple beyond your reach, carrying the weight of eternity into places your feet may never tread. This is not just your moment to speak, it is heaven's moment to be heard through you. Chosen one, stand in the open court of this season. Let your words carry the architecture of heaven. Your silence anchor the weight of wisdom, and your courage ignite the chambers of destiny. The lion has roared, who will not fear? The sovereign Lord has spoken, who can but prophesy? Amos 3:8. The 31st of August is not just the end of retrograde, it is the opening of the palace gates. Step through. They will not wait for your perfect readiness. The truths inside you, some whispered by heaven, some carved through years of trial, will demand to come out, whether your hands are steady or trembling. That is why the days leading into the 31st of August carry such weight. The divine test will not arrive from a stranger, but through the person closest to you. And it will come at the precise moment your voice is finally strong enough to speak. For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. Matthew 12:34. Yet strength in voice is not enough. Your heart must choose how to wield it. Will your words build a bridge? Or will they burn the ground beneath your feet? They may press against the edges of your boundaries, question your loyalty, or touch an old wound so deep that the ache feels like it has lived in you for generations. Everything in you may want to react quick, sharp, final. But here is the heart of the test. Will you answer from the old self, the one who must win every argument, defend every inch, and prove every point? Or will you rise as the new self, who knows that some of the greatest battles are not fought with words at all, but with patience, presence, and love? A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Proverbs 15:1. In moments like these, I'm reminded of a statement by the great cellist Pablo Casals, who once said, "The truly great musician is not the one who plays the loudest, but the one who knows when not to play." In the symphony of your life, silence can be as decisive as speech, and restraint can echo longer than rebuttal. But how will you know when to speak and when to stand still? As Mercury turns direct in Leo, conversations you thought were closed may resurface. People you haven't seen in years may reappear. Long-buried truths may rise from the shadows, like ancient scrolls unrolling in the sun. Some words you hear may feel heavier than their sound. Certain expressions may stir something buried deep in your memory, a faint echo of wounds you thought had healed. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Proverbs 20:5. Every one of these moments will be part of the orchestration, the divine alignment, preparing you for the 31st of August. This is not random tension. It is a deliberate positioning of pieces on a board you cannot fully see. And there is a warning hidden in history. In the days of the early church, there was a man named Alexander the coppersmith who opposed Paul's message and caused him much harm. Paul wrote, "The Lord will repay him for what he has done." 2 Timothy 4:14. Alexander was not a faceless enemy. He was someone known, trusted, and once within reach. His opposition did not come from distance, but from proximity. Could your test on the 31st of August come in the same way, not from the obvious enemy, but from the one close enough to touch your soul? Chosen one, stand ready. The hour will come when the air is thick with unspoken meaning, when your heart is pounding with the urge to answer in the old way. In that moment, remember, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Matthew 5-9. Stand not to prove yourself, but to prove heaven right about you. This is your hour. Hold your ground. Speak only when led, and let your stillness carry the roar of victory. It is not an accidental turn in your story. It is a carefully woven moment in the tapestry of your life. A point where every lesson, every scar, every act of faith you've walked through will be summoned to the surface. Leo's fire will beckon you to roar back when you feel cornered. It will whisper the urge to declare your truth so fiercely that no one could possibly ignore it. The tongue has the power of life and death. Proverbs 18:21. That is the gift, but also the danger. Will you let that fire serve your purpose? Or will you let it consume what you are building? The temptation to react in heat will be strong, but the wiser voice within you knows that not every battle requires a sword. Sometimes the victory lies in choosing when to stand silent. The true test will be whether your roar comes from your calling or from your wound. Fire can illuminate a dark valley, but it can also scorch a green field if ego takes the reins. You may burn the very bridge heaven built to carry you into your next chapter, but if the heart leads, that same flame will light the path into a reality where old cycles lose their grip, and you no longer circle the same wilderness. This is not simply about self-control. It is about choosing which fire you will feed. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. Jeremiah 17:7. Think of it like tending a hearth in winter. Too much flame and the house burns. Too little and the cold seeps in. The art lies in sustaining just enough heat to warm without destroying, and in this balance, you will discover a strength far greater than mere defiance. Nature itself teaches this balance. A wildfire can devastate a forest, yet certain seeds, like those of the lodgepole pine, can only release new life through the heat of flames. Could it be that this fiery moment is not meant to destroy you, but to break open what could never grow otherwise? And if so, will you recognize the difference between destruction and rebirth when you are standing in the heat? Like a storm that uproots shallow-rooted trees but spares the deeply planted, this trial will reveal where your roots truly lie. If your foundation is in truth, the fire will only burn away the dead wood. If it's in pride, the flames will leave nothing to stand on. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. Isaiah 43:2. The sun, ruler of Leo, will pour its relentless energy into this alignment, saturating the days before the 31st of August with a charge so potent it feels almost cinematic. Events will unfold like quicksilver. The smallest glances and briefest words dripping with meaning. It will feel as if the universe has placed you in the arena, the lights blazing, the audience holding its breath, the script unwritten. In that instant, be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. 1 Corinthians 16:13. And just as a conductor raises their baton before the orchestra's final movement, the world will seem to freeze for a breathless moment before the next note. This pause will be your chance, your final second, to decide what kind of mark you will leave on this chapter. This moment is much like the final act of Verdi's opera Otello, when the stage is thick with tension, and every note and silence holds the weight of destiny. One move can redeem, another can ruin. Heaven is giving you that same stage not to terrify you, but to prove you ready. Will you let fear write your lines? Or will you deliver the words that align with your calling? Even the shadows will seem to lean in to hear what you choose. And know this, your choice will echo beyond the 31st of August, shaping the script of the seasons to come. The Lord will be your everlasting light, and your God will be your glory. Isaiah 60-19. As the 31st of August approaches, remember this is not a random blaze, it is a refining fire. The same sun that can blind the unprepared will guide the one who walks in its light. This is the arena of destiny, the proving ground of your patience, and the moment heaven watches to see if you will master the flame or let the flame master you. Chosen one, stand in the arena, lift your head to the light, and let your fire burn for purpose, not for pride. And when the last ember settles, let it be said that you did not merely survive the blaze, you emerged from it, carrying the light forward. Every choice you make these days will not end. When the clock strikes midnight, they will ripple outward like waves from a stone dropped in still water. The drumbeat is already sounding, faint but steady, like a distant war march, moving closer. Every conversation you have, every emotion you feel, every unexpected encounter is adding another note to the score that will play on the 31st of August. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. 2 Corinthians 5:10. On that day, you will not simply be marking another date, you will be standing at the gateway of a test that could alter the blueprint of your life. Will you walk through it as you are now, or as the version of you heaven has been building in secret? What most cannot see is that the test of the 31st of August is not about a single conversation, conflict, or decision. It is the sealing of a chamber in your soul that has been echoing with the same lessons for years, maybe even decades. That is why it feels heavier than any challenge before. That is why the air feels charged, as though your very skin is aware of the approaching hour. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Does your heartbeat quicken when you think about what's coming? Not out of fear, but because some deep part of you knows it has been here before. The universe has been turning a great wheel in the background of your life. In mechanical engineering, there is a phenomenon called torque alignment. When a system rotates until the grooves of its gears fall perfectly into place, that is what is happening now. The wheel is slowing, clicking into its final notch, preparing to lock. That locking point is the 31st of August. It is the precise moment the architecture of your spiritual foundation will bear its full weight. Miss the alignment, and the door it holds in place will remain closed. Stand in it, and the door will swing open to a hall you have never walked before. This is not a new path. It is an ancient cycle you've been walking without realizing. The same patterns, the same emotional traps, the same type of people showing up in different forms, pulling you into storms you thought you'd left behind. The late conductor Herbert von Karajan once said, "The pauses between the notes, that is where the art resides." You have been given a pause before the final note of this cycle, and in that stillness lies your power. Will you step into the same storm once again? Or will you break the weather pattern entirely? Chosen one, when the wheel locks, stand firm, and you will win life. Luke 21:19. Do not be lulled by the familiarity of the cycle. It is not your home. It is your cage. Let the 31st of August be the day the key turns, the gate opens, and you step into the corridor. Heaven has been preparing. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. Isaiah 43:18. The cycle ends when you say it ends. Stand, and let the lock click into place for the last time. Every time you thought you had moved forward, a hand seen or unseen seemed to reach back and drag you into old ground. It was never random. The pull was gravitational, like the moon drawing the tide. And as long as the wheel kept turning, you could feel it tugging at you. But when the wheel stops, that force dissolves. The cycle cannot hold you anymore. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. Yet freedom does not arrive wrapped in comfort. It arrives wrapped in a test, and the test, cunning in its design, comes through the person closest to you, because only they can reach the deepest chambers of your heart. A stranger cannot wound you with the same precision. An acquaintance cannot tempt you with the same intensity. But the one you love, the one you trust, they can shake the very ground beneath your feet. Why would heaven allow this? Not to punish you, but to uncover what still lives within you, what still bleeds, what still resists surrender, what must be healed before you can carry the weight of the next chapter. The crucible for silver and the furnace for gold. But the Lord tests the heart. Proverbs 17:3. Will you see this as betrayal, or will you recognize it as surgery on the soul? History offers warnings for those who misread such moments. In the courts of medieval France, Charles the Bold trusted an advisor named Pierre de Hagenbach with his territories. Hagenbach's cruelty not only destroyed Charles's influence, but cost the region its stability for decades. The danger did not come from an open enemy, it came from within his own house. Could the 31st of August hold a Hagenbach in your life? And if so, will you identify them in time to guard the gate of your destiny? Moments like these are gateways. They are rare. They do not swing open often. And when they do, they remain open for only a breath in eternity. On the 31st of August, such a gateway will open for you. You will not see it with your eyes, but you will feel it, a heaviness in the air, the sensation of being observed by something far greater than you, a clarity so sharp it feels as if heaven itself has leaned in. Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is, and walk in it. Jeremiah 6:16. In that instant, the choices you make will etch themselves into the architecture of your fate. This is where Mercury direct in Leo becomes more than an astrological headline. It becomes a torch in your hand. It will expose the truth from the falsehood, reveal who is walking beside you in covenant and who is merely passing through. It will show you what belongs in your future and what must be left in the ashes. But light, if unguarded, can blind. Will you use it to guide your steps or to scorch the very road you must walk? Wisdom will matter more than victory. When an ancient cycle ends, a new one begins instantly. No pause, no empty space. The person you are in the final hour of the 31st of August will be the same person who steps over the threshold. Do not be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. If you react from your old wounds, you will carry them into the next cycle, and the freedom you've been chasing will evaporate once again. In the hours before this day, you may feel restless, as though the air itself is carrying news you cannot yet hear. You may notice repeating numbers, vivid dreams, or encounter people whose timing feels too precise to be coincidence. These are not random, they are signals, carefully placed by the same hand that wrote your story before your first breath. And when the moment arrives, it will be quiet, not the gentle quiet of peace, but the electric quiet before lightning splits the sky. You will know it instantly, for every part of you will stand alert, and you will sense that heaven is watching to see if you will walk through. Chosen one, when that gateway stands before you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1-9. Lift your head, steady your heart, and take the step. This is not just another day. It is the threshold of your becoming. The shift begins quietly. Like the first drop in air pressure before a storm, you feel it in the tightness of your chest, in the sudden stillness that creeps into a room, in the way the person closest to you says or does something that slices past your defenses and reaches the core of you. That is the moment. That is the gateway. That is the test. And when it comes, only one question will matter. Will you pass through with love? Or will you be turned back to walk the same road again? Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. 1 Peter 4-8. What will your answer be when the weight of heaven rests in that breath? In the days leading to the 31st of August, the signs will begin to multiply, not with thunderclaps or blazing visions, but with quiet threads woven into the fabric of your daily life. The sacred often hides in simplicity, almost daring you to notice it. This is how heaven works. When a test of this magnitude approaches, it whispers before it roars. Will you have the eyes to see the whisper? My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. You may sit through a seemingly ordinary conversation, yet hours later, its words will echo like the call of a distant bird you can't ignore. Why does it linger? Perhaps because those words carried a message written only for your spirit. Sometimes, the cycle will reveal itself in the faces of people you haven't seen in years. They will appear, not by accident, but as part of a pattern resurfacing for the final time. These encounters will feel charged, as if the air between you is heavy with all the unsaid years. It is the same way the earth releases a deep scent before rain, a sign, subtle yet undeniable, that something is coming. Will you step into the rain or hide until it passes? See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43-19. Your dreams will sharpen as the day approaches, more vivid, more emotional, sometimes unsettling. You may wake at 3 a.m., pulse quickened, with the sensation that someone was trying to speak to you through the veil. Pay attention to the symbols in these dreams. They are not random images. They are coded messages, like seeds in a forest carried by the wind to land exactly where they are needed. Just as the Arctic poppy turns its flower to follow the sun, your spirit will be drawn toward these signs without conscious effort. Will you lean into them or dismiss them as noise? This sensitivity will spill into your waking hours. You will notice the subtle shift in a person's posture, the tightening around their eyes, the invisible current of tension in a room. It is as if you have been given the eyes of a hawk, able to detect the slightest movement in the tall grass. And like the hawk, your next move must be deliberate. Patient, unshaken. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. 1 Peter 5-8. It will feel much like the tense opening of Shakespeare's Macbeth, when the stage is shrouded in mist. The witches speak in riddles, and the audience knows that destiny has already begun to weave its threads before the first act unfolds. The tension isn't there to crush you. It is there to sharpen your awareness, to make sure you don't miss the turning of the key in the lock. Chosen one, stand ready. The 31st of August will not arrive with fanfare. It will arrive in a breath, in a glance, in a word so ordinary you might miss it. But if you are awake, you will know this is it. Step forward, for the path behind you no longer exists. The person closest to you may begin to act differently, perhaps more distant, perhaps sharper in tone, or even overly kind in a way that feels strangely out of place. This is not a sudden shift in their nature. It is the spiritual stage being set with precision, moving both of you into the exact positions required for the moment of truth. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Have you noticed how subtle changes in people's behavior can speak louder than their words? That is the opening scene of your test being written in real time. As the 31st of August draws near, you may sense time behaving differently, events stacking one upon another without the usual pauses, giving you little space to breathe. This is temporal compression, a phenomenon in both physics and the spiritual realm where momentum builds exponentially just before a release. It is the tightening of a bowstring before the arrow flies, the final revolutions of a massive flywheel before it locks into place. Will you be ready when the arrow is released? Write down the revelation and make it plain, for the revelation awaits an appointed time. Habakkuk 2:2-3. The signs will begin to surface with mathematical precision, repeating numbers 777, 1212 will appear not only on clocks but on receipts, street signs, and in your dreams. In mathematics, these are palindromic patterns, sequences that mirror themselves, symbolizing divine symmetry. Spiritually, they are confirmations, nods from heaven that your steps are aligned with a greater design. Are you willing to believe these patterns are not accidents, but coordinates marking your path to the defining moment of your life? Then, the synchronicities will sharpen. A song will play at the exact moment you are thinking about someone, carrying lyrics that feel almost surgical in how they answer the unspoken questions of your heart. You will overhear a fragment of a stranger's conversation, and it will strike with the clarity of an arrow hitting its mark. Whether you turn to the right or to the left, your ears will hear a voice behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. It is as if the entire environment is conspiring to hand you the script you'll need for the test. Will you read it or ignore it? The sensation of being watched will grow not in a fearful sense, but as in a championship match, when the referee observes closely in the final seconds before the whistle. This is the silent arena of destiny, the pause before the deciding move. The renowned mountaineer Reinhold Messner once said, "Mountains aren't fair or unfair, they're just dangerous." In the same way, this moment is not cruel, it is consequential. It is watching to see if you've trained for the climb you're about to make. All of these signs are not here to scare you. They are here to prepare you. Be alert and of sober mind. Resist him, standing firm in the faith. 1 Peter 5:8-9. Chosen ones stand in this alignment without flinching. Let the patterns guide you. Let the timing shape you. And when the moment comes, step into it with the steadiness of someone who knows the architect himself has drawn the blueprint of their victory. They are signals carved into the unseen architecture of your journey. Reminders that nothing you are about to face is random, and nothing will occur outside the capacity you have been steadily building. The test ahead was not crafted to crush you. It was designed to dismantle the invisible prison you didn't realize you were living in. For the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1-3. This is not a trial meant to shatter. It's an instrument precisely tuned to set you free. But when that moment comes, will you recognize it for what it is, or will it pass you by disguised as something ordinary? When the day comes, it may begin with deceptive simplicity. The light through your window may fall, as it always does. The rhythm of the morning may hum like a familiar song, but somewhere in the quiet mechanics of those hours, a subtle shift will occur. The air will carry a different resonance, almost like the stillness before a conductor's baton descends, and the orchestra explodes into sound. Something, perhaps a word, an action, or even a single glance will pierce through the ordinary and vibrate in your spirit with the undeniable frequency of destiny. And in that moment, you will feel the world slow. It will be as though the stage lights have narrowed until only two figures remain, you and the person closest to you. Every sound will fade except for the inner pulse of your own heartbeat, striking like a drum in a cathedral. The choice you make here will not simply determine how the moment ends, it will lay the foundation stones of the road you will walk for years to come. I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. But are you prepared for the reality that choosing life may mean letting go of something or someone you thought you could never release? This is why the test is not truly about them. It is about the person you have been becoming in the hidden chambers of your spirit. It's about the wisdom you've gathered grain by grain. Like an artisan building a vaulted ceiling, one stone at a time. Knowing that one misplaced arch could weaken the entire structure, the weight of this moment is not a burden, it is the culmination of years of alignment, preparation, and divine design. The entrepreneur Howard Schultz once said, "In life, you can't build a wall high enough to protect yourself from all the unexpected events." He was speaking of business, but the principle is spiritual. The wall you've been building is not to keep people out, it is to hold your integrity in when the winds of betrayal try to tear it away. And when that wind blows on the 31st of August, will you be able to stand without the need to strike back? The 31st of August will not be the end of your story. It will be the final punctuation mark of a chapter you have been inhabiting far too long. And as Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. This is the moment when seasons shift, when one page falls away and another begins. Once you cross that threshold, there will be no turning back. You cannot re-enter the old cycle any more than a butterfly can crawl back into its cocoon. The gravitational pull of the past will release you, and you will feel the strange lightness that comes when chains fall from your hands. Every conversation you've endured, every shadow you've wrestled, every restless night like threads in a divine loom, they have all been leading you to this singular point of convergence. And when that point arrives, Isaiah 43:19 will breathe over you. "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" The new thing will not simply arrive, it will erupt. Like a cathedral door thrown open to the blinding light of morning after centuries of darkness. So when the moment comes, stand. Stand as David stood before Goliath. Not because he had the largest sword, but because he had the clearest vision of who went before him. This is not the hour to shrink back or let the old self speak for you. This is the hour to rise into the self heaven has been sculpting, the one whose voice carries the resonance of truth and whose steps echo with the sound of freedom. This is not something far in the distance. It is right in front of you, humming beneath the surface of each passing day. You can feel the pressure building, the air becoming heavier, the sense that something unseen is arranging each detail around you. It's in the way people speak to you differently, in the way old thoughts resurface without warning, in the way your own reflection seems to ask questions you've been avoiding. This is the gathering of energy before the moment it releases, the deep inhale before the exhale that changes everything. The patterns that have been repeating are showing themselves more clearly now. They're not subtle anymore. You see them in the reactions of the person closest to you, in the small ways they mirror your own inner state, in the way their presence stirs feelings you thought you had mastered. It's as if life has placed you in a circle and is slowly tightening it. bringing you face to face with the one truth you cannot ignore any longer. You may notice time behaving strangely. Certain days moving too quickly, others stretching endlessly. This is the rhythm of alignment, the push and pull of forces, arranging the stage for a single defining exchange. The test will not announce itself. It will arrive in the middle of something ordinary, but when it does, you will know instantly the tone of a voice, the weight of a silence, the way your heart suddenly beats harder. The world will shift, and you will understand that this is the moment everything has been preparing you for. This is why the days you are in now matter more than you realize. Every choice, every thought, every way you respond to what is placed in front of you is shaping the outcome of a moment that has not yet arrived, but is already written in the language of the stars. The universe has been patient, guiding you here, step by step, sending signs and whispers so you could be ready. And no, this is not something far off in the distance. It is already here, quietly pulsing beneath the surface of each passing day. You can feel it in the atmosphere, like the faint vibration of a massive bell moments before it struck. The air grows heavier, and you sense an unseen hand arranging the details of your life with deliberate precision. It shows itself in subtle ways, in the shift of someone's tone when they speak to you, in old memories resurfacing uninvited. In the uncanny way, your own reflection seems to hold your gaze a little too long. Could it be that the stage has been set long before you realized you were even part of the scene? This is the gathering of energy before the moment it releases, the deep inhale before the exhale that changes everything. The patterns you thought you'd escaped are reappearing, more pronounced, more insistent. You see them mirrored in the reactions of the person closest to you, in how their presence stirs emotions you thought you'd conquered. The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out. Proverbs 20:5. And perhaps the emotion they stir is not meant to weaken you, but to reveal the final remnants of what still needs to be healed. Life now feels like a circle tightening around you, bringing you face to face with the truth you can no longer outrun. Some days seem to vanish in a heartbeat, others stretch endlessly, as if testing your patience. This is the rhythm of alignment, the push and pull of forces orchestrating the stage for one defining exchange. Winston Churchill once said, "There comes a special moment in everyone's life, a moment for which that person was born." What if this is that moment for you, and the world just hasn't caught on yet? The test will not announce itself. It will arrive in the middle of something painfully ordinary. One moment you're in conversation, the next your heartbeat changes. The air thickens, and something within whispers, "This is it." And in that instant, the world will tilt. You will feel the weight of every decision you have made, pressing into the choice before you. Be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. 1 Corinthians 16:13. Will you act from the wounds of the past, or from the wisdom the past has forged? Even now, every choice you make is shaping the outcome of this unseen moment. The universe has been patient, guiding you with whispers, symbols, and closed doors that were never punishments but protections. There is no more wandering now, only a path narrowing to a single door. When it appears, you won't recognize it with your eyes, but your soul will know. The air will be charged, your skin will tighten, your breath will slow, and your senses will sharpen. Will you be ready to step through without hesitation? And there, before you, will stand the person who knows your strengths, your blind spots, your history. They will be the key, but also the challenge. in the Bible. Judas Iscariot was one of Jesus' closest companions, yet it was his kiss that marked the betrayal. Luke 22:48. Proximity gives both power to bless and power to wound. History is full of such turning points. The famed Italian artist Caravaggio, whose genius reshaped the Baroque era, once destroyed his own patronage through a violent outburst, a single choice that locked him out of commissions for years. Genius was not enough. Character was the true currency. And when the weight falls on you, will your character prove strong enough to carry the moment? But beware, there are those who, like Absalom in 2 Samuel 15, gain influence through quiet manipulation, turning hearts away until the damage is irreversible. Their downfall is always the same. The very net they weave for others becomes the snare that tightens around their own feet. When the moment arrives, Psalm 37:23, -24, will echo in your spirit. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him, though he may stumble. He will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. The decision you make will not just shape the rest of your year, it will define the architecture of the life you step into. This is the crossing point, and once you pass through, there is no going back. The old cycle will collapse behind you like a bridge burning in the distance. Stand not as someone afraid to lose, but as someone who knows the fight was never about winning an argument. It was about winning your soul. Rise into the self heaven has been shaping. For this is the moment you were born for. There is no more wandering, only the path, narrowing, focusing, leading you to a door that will open only once. When that door appears, you will not see it with your eyes. Yet, every part of your being will recognize it. The air will feel different, charged in a way that makes your skin tighten and your breath slow. The sounds around you will seem distant, as though the world has stepped back to make space for what is about to happen. And in that stillness, there will be a weight, not a burden, but the undeniable awareness that you have arrived at a crossing point. The person before you, the one who knows your habits, your strengths, your weaknesses, will become the key. Through them, something ancient within you will be called to the surface, a resonance older than memory, vibrating in the hidden chambers of your soul, like the echoes in a Gothic cathedral. Could it be that one sentence, whispered or spoken aloud, carries more weight than an entire lifetime of lessons? Could a single glance, a subtle shift in posture, reveal more than the pages of history ever could? The question lingers. What part of you has been waiting in silence, waiting for this very trial? And what will rise if you finally dare to confront it? In that moment, every layer you have painstakingly built, the shields of habit, the armor of pride will be illuminated, every instinct to hide, every familiar escape route etched into your mind will appear in high relief, demanding an answer without a sound. There will come a temptation, subtle yet powerful, to slip back into the old self, to follow the well-worn path of reaction, defense, and pride. It will feel familiar, as if walking barefoot along a riverbank where stones remember your steps. Comfort will beckon, seductive as the warmth of the sun on autumn leaves. Yet this is not the moment for ease. This is the threshold of transformation, a liminal corridor where the self you have never fully embraced waits to be discovered. Like a seed cracking through frozen soil, you must yield to the pressure of growth, not resist it. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Romans 12:2 whispers from the pages of eternity. reminding you that growth often comes disguised as discomfort. The door before you will not respond to force or anger. It does not bend to coercion. Nor can it be pried open with the blunt instruments of human effort. It will open with stillness, with the conscious decision to stand in your truth while allowing the other to remain whole. The person before you is not your adversary. They are the final mirror. Every word, every glance they offer is a reflection of the last chain you must release. Could the greatest betrayal also be the greatest revelation? Might the hand that appears to push you down be the one holding the key to your ascent? Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Proverbs 13:20 reverberates here, highlighting that discernment in human relationships is both a science and an art. And when the moment arrives, that subtle click in your soul, that almost imperceptible shift in the unseen currents of your being, you will recognize the choice you have made. The energy in the room will transform, like the sudden clarity of light piercing through stained glass at noon. The heaviness will lift as if a storm within has passed, leaving the air crystalline, charged with possibility. Even the light itself will seem sharper, more alive. Acknowledging the step you have taken, have you ever noticed how lightning illuminates the forest, revealing hidden paths and unseen branches? This is your moment of revelation, an inner flash, exposing the contours of your higher self. The Lord is my strength and my shield. In him my heart trusts, and I am helped. Psalm 28:7 resounds through the stillness, confirming the alignment of courage and obedience. The test, though intimate and silent, echoes with universal patterns like waves tuned to a resonant frequency. Your choices create a subtle interference pattern, reverberating far beyond the visible horizon. Could it be that this trial, small in appearance, yet immense in consequence, mirrors the hidden harmonics of creation itself? And, as in the score of Amadeus, where tension rises only to resolve in transcendent clarity, your response will orchestrate the unseen forces around you. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4 accompanies each step, reminding you that divine accompaniment transcends betrayal, fear, and doubt. Stand now, not as one who has been beaten by circumstance, but as one who has deciphered the subtle architecture of divine challenge. You have faced the reflection of your deepest fears, the mirror that could have shattered your resolve, and yet you remain unbroken, like a tree rooted in rocky soil, yet stretching toward the heavens. Your strength is revealed in the tension between adversity and aspiration. Will you rise fully, choosing courage where habit tempts retreat? Will you let this moment define you as a sentinel of integrity and divine alignment? Be strong, and let your heart take courage. All you who wait for the Lord, Psalm 31:24, echoes through the corridors of eternity, a clarion call to stand and step into the destiny awaiting your obedience. But make no mistake, this door will not linger indefinitely. Like a quantum resonance that exists only in precise alignment, the opportunity vibrates in a frequency that will vanish the moment hesitation prevails. If you falter, if your gaze drifts elsewhere, the portal will not slam shut in fury. It will fade quietly, returning to the liminal spaces where thresholds wait for those attuned enough to recognize them again. Can you sense the subtle architecture of this moment? The invisible scaffolding of destiny that forms only when your awareness synchronizes with the pattern. Behold, I set before you today life and death, blessing and curse. Therefore choose life. Deuteronomy 30-19 whispers through the invisible corridors, reminding you that discernment now is the axis upon which your future pivots. In the days preceding this pivotal instant, life orchestrates small rehearsals, subtle exercises in the harmonic physics of choice. You may feel provoked, tested in the laboratory of your own mind, asked to hold your peace when every neuron screams for reaction, interaction, every delayed response. Each carefully measured word is like a calibration of your internal gyroscope. The universe is polishing the key before you stand before the lock. Have you noticed how certain moments arrive repeatedly, as if the cosmos itself is providing a rehearsal? Could the mundane be training you for the miraculous? The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. Proverbs 16-9 hums beneath the surface of every encounter, confirming that even seemingly ordinary trials are charged with unseen design. And when you finally stand before the portal, the point where your pulse races and your consciousness sharpens into crystalline focus, remember this: your decision here will pivot destiny itself. There is no fault in pausing, no weakness in inhaling deeply before action. What matters is that your choice is rooted in the person you are becoming, the refined, harmonically balanced self, not the shadow of who you once were. On the other side, air itself will feel altered, denser in opportunity, lighter in burden. Streets may appear unchanged, faces familiar, routines seemingly the same, but you have changed. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13 echoes as a subsonic reinforcement, a hidden resonance that underwrites every step you take into the transformed world. The noise that once pulled at your attention, fragmenting your consciousness like static in a radio signal, will become distant, almost irrelevant. The weight lodged in your chest for years, tension, unspoken sorrow, unacknowledged doubt, will dissolve. Like heat dissipating from a metal lattice, colors will sharpen, tones of voice will carry new meaning. Minute details, previously imperceptible, will command your focus. Sunlight refracting through window panes like prisms in a cathedral dome. The cadence of your own breathing, a rhythmic pulse of life. The expressions on those around you will speak volumes. Subtle cues previously drowned in chaos now, audible through your attuned perception. Life will slow enough for clarity, as if the cosmos itself has adjusted its temporal frequency to align with your newly centered being. Decisions will flow with the smooth efficiency of fluid dynamics, not because life is simpler, but because your internal systems have aligned, like harmonic oscillators achieving perfect resonance. Will quiet replace anxiety, uncertainty, and indecision? Yes. You will meet challenges with the calm equilibrium of a pendulum at rest after storms of motion. Relationships will evolve, some rising alongside you, anchored in mutual growth and understanding, others shedding away naturally, like leaves releasing from trees in a precise gust of wind, not forcibly removed, but realigned with the seasonal flow. Opportunities, long chased with frantic effort, will arrive in synchrony, appearing at the nexus of preparation, presence, and precision. Doors will no longer require force to open. They respond to the physics of alignment, the architecture of readiness, the mathematics of divine timing. In moments of challenge, how do the principles of patience, deliberate action, and attentive observation, echoed in both Proverbs 16:3, Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. And Leonardo da Vinci's reflections on perception and design serve as the foundational architecture of your personal success and destiny. How does every heartbeat, every measured breath, and every choice to remain calm amid provocation contribute to the invisible blueprint of triumph in your life? Now is the time to rise fully. Stand as if the unseen columns of heaven themselves support your spine, as if each decision is a stone in the cathedral of your soul. The transformation has begun. It is subtle, profound, and irreversible. Step through with courage. Step through with clarity. Step through knowing that what you choose today reverberates across the unseen dimensions of your life. For the Lord will be your confidence and will keep your foot from being caught. Proverbs 3:26 resonates here. A harmonic seal of assurance for every step forward. Rise. For the world beyond this moment waits for the one who has mastered the quiet art of alignment, the final key to a life lived fully, courageously, divinely. Most of all, there will be a peace that lives deep inside you, not the fragile kind that shatters when circumstances shift, but the enduring kind that remains steady, no matter what storms rage around you. As it is written in Isaiah 40:31, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles." Can you feel what it means to rise even when the world insists you fall? This is the gift that passing the test brings, not avoidance of hardship, but the courage to meet it with unshakable certainty. The quiet knowledge that nothing can strip away who you have become. Consider Maya Angelou, the renowned poet and activist. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. Her life was a tapestry of challenges, yet her resilience illuminated the paths of countless others. And so it is for you, the person who hesitated before the door, who trembled under the weight of old wounds, will feel familiar, like someone you once knew, but who could not walk forward with you. Have you ever wondered why some people seem stuck while others step into their destiny? Every step you take beyond that threshold reaffirms why they had to remain behind. This is why the moment matters. This is why you were prepared, pushed, and placed exactly where you are now. The doorway before you does more than open onto a new chapter. It leads to the version of yourself that your soul has long awaited. The first thing you will notice are the signs, not merry coincidences, numbers, shapes, or fleeting patterns, but personal symbols speaking directly to you. A bird appearing as if from memory, a phrase resurrected from a forgotten book, or a melody you didn't know you needed until that precise moment. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord in Jeremiah 29:11, plans for welfare, hope, and a future. How often have you missed these whispers because they were so quiet, yet persistent? It will feel as though the cosmos is conversing in a language only you can understand. The more you recognize these signs, the more they will multiply. This is not magic, it is resonance. The universe responding to the frequency you now carry everywhere. You will see mirrors, not merely in reflective surfaces, but in the gestures of strangers, in the eyes of loved ones. They reveal fragments of the self you reclaimed, unexpected kindness, courage you forgot, you possessed, decisions free from fear. Could it be that these moments were always meant to reveal who you truly are? Visions may appear, quiet and fleeting, glimpses of places yet unvisited, lives that feel both alien and intimately familiar. They are not distant possibilities, they are steps within reach. Even challenges will shift in tone, storms may persist, but they will no longer derail your course. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding, reminds Proverbs 3:5. What if the turbulence itself is teaching you the rhythm of your own power? Yet, beware the antagonist within and without, those who once sought to distract or diminish you, whether the dismissive critic, the deceitful friend, or the inner voice of doubt. Consider the story of King Saul, who allowed envy to cloud his judgment, ultimately losing favor, and the kingdom he once held. Their echoes may still appear, but their power is neutralized by the growth and alignment you now carry. Their consequences serve as lessons, reminders that the path of the chosen self is paved through discernment, resilience, and the sacred art of timing. Every heartbeat, every measured breath, every deliberate choice to remain calm amid provocation contributes to the invisible architecture of triumph, as Paul wrote in Romans 8:28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. The world itself conspires in your favor, and the moment you cross that threshold, you will know that the life awaiting you is the one you were always destined to inhabit. Will you recognize it when it finally appears? You'll stand in the rain and realize you are not drowning. You are rooted, like the ancient oak whose branches sway, yet whose trunk remains unbroken through centuries of storms. The lightning will strike, yet you will feel no fear, only awe at its raw power and beauty, as if the sky itself is echoing your inner awakening. How long have you been waiting for the moment that would reveal this strength within you? This is how you will know you have changed, not because the world became easier, but because you are no longer the same in its presence, and the person closest to you, the one who played the role in your final test, will become a sign. Whether they stay or drift away, they will mark the threshold you crossed. You will no longer see them as an obstacle. You will see them as the hand that knowingly or unknowingly turned the final key, as it is written in Psalm 37:23. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Every seeming barrier was part of the design, and even your adversaries, the rivals who sought to hinder your growth, have become unwitting architects of your triumph. Did you ever wonder why their interference felt unbearable at the time, yet essential in hindsight, in your hardest moments? Every challenge, delay, and heartbreak was a thread pulling you here, weaving you into the exact shape needed to step forward. You will sense the rhythm of this weaving as you move, like the subtle patterns in a river's current or the way vines climb towards sunlight against every obstacle. And as you walk further into this space, you will feel the pull of something greater, a sense that this is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of the one you were born to take. Have you noticed how every thorned path eventually leads to a clearing? The path will not reveal itself all at once, yet you will no longer fear the unknown. You will welcome it, because now you understand that every unseen step carries you precisely where you are meant to go. The signs will continue to appear. A deer pausing in your path, a breeze rustling in patterns that echo long-forgotten prayers, a song from a European orchestra swelling with the harmony of hope, a subtle reminder of what faith has guided throughout history, even Zupple Flesches, like the opening scene of the Chronicles of Narnia. The lion, the witch, and the wardrobe whisper that the extraordinary waits just beyond the familiar. The doorway remains behind you, a silent witness to the day you stopped circling the same ground and began to truly move forward. Every step you take now is part of the approach. The doorway may not yet stand fully visible, but its presence shapes your days, the challenges that arise, the emotions that surface without warning. the words lingering in your mind, all fragments of the path leading to that singular point. As Proverbs 16:9 reminds us, "A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps." Every heartbeat, every breath, every choice is guiding you. Like the currents that carry a mighty river toward the ocean, it was always destined to reach. The 31st of August is not a date to fear, it is a threshold. A sacred moment where preparation meets destiny. The test before you is not about defeating someone else, it is about mastering yourself when it matters most. Every sign you have seen, every subtle whisper of the universe, has been guiding you to this very point. The stage is set. The air is still. And your heart knows the time has come. Remember this, you were prepared for this exact moment. Step forward with the truth in your heart, and the door will open effortlessly. Step forward with fear, and it will dissolve beneath the weight of your courage. Your choice is yours, and its echo will resonate through every chapter yet to be written in your story. As Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." And if this message has spoken to your soul, take a moment now, like, share, comment 777, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement is more than a click. It is a declaration that you are ready to walk the path laid out for you. To those who have supported us through Super Thanks or in spirit, we are deeply grateful. Your presence strengthens this community of seekers, dreamers, and chosen ones. May your steps be guided by clarity, your heart be filled with courage, and your spirit rise to meet the destiny you were always meant to embrace. Go forth with faith, and may blessings follow you wherever you journey.